Hello, everyone. This is Tremel, hailing from Detroit, and I'm Freedmen, the group of people who come from the Freedmen's Bureau lineage. We're going to cover some very important information to help in efforts to advocate for our communities, for the children of the future generations in our community, from a resources and safety standpoint. It's a lot of information that we're going to be going over here, so it's just hold tight, and we're going to get this going. That way, we're trying to keep this under an hour, but we'll see how it goes. All right, CARICOM, a conglomerate of 15 Caribbean nations established in 73, dedicated to the preservation of the identity and culture of the Caribbean people. In addition, the pursuit of social and economic justice, the eradication of poverty, and the promotion of the development of technology. Most importantly, the pursuit of reparations specifically for the Caribbean people. That's CARICOM for you guys. They are real specific. Oh, African American. The term African American. Very vague term. Very broad term. Anybody could be an African American. They move over here, been over here 2 years, 20 years, they be considered African American. Well, that's not very accurate of us over 30 million people who've been here for multiple generations. We're talking about 9 to 18 generations. So we have an African American. There's an African country right here for an example, but we could do Zimbabwe. It doesn't really matter. It's Africa. All right, but we got Algeria. Look at that lady right there. She's pretty decent looking. Not getting too sexual on here, but she's decent looking by any nice general consensus. Would consider that. Look at this guy right here. Looks pretty young. Not he doesn't look like he's 50 or 40 or nothing like that, but he could be. But doesn't look like. All right. So what are these two people from Algeria had a babe moved over here? You don't even have to move over here. Came over here within a year, had a baby together, made a baby together, and so they're here for 2 years. In that time, she got pregnant. 9 months later, that baby is born. Born in America, you're a U.S. citizen. You're an American. Both parents born and raised in Africa, they're Africans. That would make that baby African American. Just like that. That baby is African American. Doesn't really tell that name, that title, that category, that label don't really tell that story. Now, don't it? Don't it and won't it? Fortress Black in America closed to Africans. They resist being identified with blacks once they become aware of the American caste system. And I'm assuming when they say blacks, they mean freedmen or ADOS or FBA or Negro. Once they become aware of the American caste system that puts melanin rich humans at the bottom. Bloomberg City Lab article there. Okay. feel free to Google any of these screenshots. Go these titles here. Every title of these screenshots of articles, they all pull up on Google very quickly, swiftly and quickly. Speaking of Google, if you Google benign neglect, it comes up under municipal disinvestment. Started in the 70s under the Reagan-Nixon administration. All right. This was to ignore and deny Negroes resources, even when it come time to voting and running for office and whatnot. All right. If you look at school systems, that's predominantly Negro, that's predominantly Freedmen. The benign neglect is real. 50 years later. Oh, look what we have here. Free land from Indians, jump 2 spaces, free labor from slaves, take another, roll the dice again, you get 2 turns in a row. We don't, do you really want to go down this road here? But you feel free to freeze frame this stuff here all day long. And then you get told this right here. I just heard somebody who left ESPN or some sports network. Now they want to get into politics, and they pretty much was saying this just yesterday. I saw it yesterday, and I think it was from a few days earlier. The American dream is for everybody. And then they may even acknowledge this stuff, and they're like, okay, well, you still... No, there's no, well, okay, that you can still... There's an economic effect. There's a psychological effect. There's talking about mental health. Reparations is the mental health program. Racism has, wow, look at what you look at here. Who is it? CBS. You need to holler at CBS. I'm not dissing you. Your album is dissing you. This stuff is coming from NPR, PBS, USA Today, New York Times, things of that ilk. It ain't coming from me. Boy, racism has cost the U.S. $16 trillion. They rather tear down their own neighborhoods and their own communities. Ideally, you have every community looking like Madison Heights, Michigan, which is not even like super rich or anything like that. But no, they rather just out of evilness and racism. The more houses you have and in good shape and good schools and everything else, the better off your city will be. Also, for that city and for that state, the better off your state will be. Or if you're a country, so which would be the federal, the better off your country will be for the federal government. So you think just the city that's suffered, oh, this particular neighborhood or community or area is bad. Yeah, that city suffers. Everybody know that. The mayor knows it. The people that criticize the mayor know it, and stuff like that. But if you're the state, whatever state that community in, that suffers the state. Even though there's other communities in other states that's going through the same thing, if not worse. But that community is holding down, is bringing that state down economically. All right. Clearly they don't care. So, but we care because we have to live in these communities. Black banks, the black bank myth. You might want to check out that book there, The Color of Money, Black Banks and the Racial Wealth Gap. These black banks ain't, the way it's set up, the way the system is, it's not closing the racial wealth gap either. The median household income 2012 for Caucasians is $57K. For Negroes, it's $33K. The median wealth for Caucasians is 134K, and for Negroes 11K. Households with college grads in their 30s, that's 30 to 30, age 30 through 39. The time frame is 89 through 19. So this is a 30-year, 30-year time frame for people in their 30s. For Negroes, it went down 84%. So it went from 50K to 8K. And then for Caucasians, it went up 17% from 118, which is 118. Let's read this number again here for me. So Caucasians, it went up 17%. So it went from 118K to 138K. This is the Federal Reserve data. All right. So this is this whole college degree myth. Look at that. I hate saying this. The black bank myth, college degree myth. It's not a myth, huh? College educated households in their 30s, from the early 90s to the late 2010s. So this is income. Negroes, it went up 7%, which took them up to 76K. And for Caucasians, it went up 13%. So the up was double, which took them, and it took them to 114K. Federal Reserve data. College is not the cure for wealth gaps. Median worth of U.S. households 2016 by race and education attainment of household head of household. Okay, look at that. Caucasian, Negro, Hispanic, other. Median net worth in thousands of 2016 dollars. This is Brookings, the Brookings Institute. So this is where this source, Lisa Joanne, I'm not going to read them. The wealth holdings by race and ethnicity, evident from the survey of Consumer Finances, Federal Reserve Board, September 2017. All right, give me something to drink here for ya. I'm already getting tired. Oh boy, this is I don't see how people don't understand this stuff here, and I gotta sit here and go through this stuff like a third grade teacher. I could be watching a movie right now, watching the basketball game, clipping my toenails, but let's get this stuff over with, man. This is ridiculous. Catch up. Get it together. Median household net worth by race and education. Right here, y'all. This is income and program. Source: Authors Calculation Survey on Income and Program Participation, SIP, 2014. All right, it's right there. You want me to email you this stuff? Like, the fuck? Equal versus equality, not the same needs. So you give everybody the same needs across the board. Look at that. That's what is that doing? That's doing nothing. That's doing nothing. Or no, okay, it's doing a little. It's help. This is the effectiveness. This is not helping at all. This didn't help at all. As far as their goal, which is the view. Now they may want to sit down or something like that. No, that's something else. But as far as being able to see, view the game, that crate didn't do nothing. That didn't change anything. That didn't change life. That didn't change life. Look how many resources. That's money. Look at how many eggs, how many pork chops you didn't waste it. Those 13 pork chops that do nothing. That the 14 third chops and do nothing. That fed a whole community right there. Okay, let's move along. I can't. This is come on, y'all. This is incredible right here. This is just, oh my goodness. Unequal access to opportunities. Look at that. Look at the resources there. All the apples is on that side. Very few apples on that side. Now, neither of them have ladders to reach it, but at least the ones that's falling down, they're going to get it. You know, that person is going to get a few there. This is incredible. This is a great illustration to the point. Okay? So you give them both ladders, equality. Oh, y'all both got, oh, you got a ladder. What's wrong? Look at that. One, you can't reach it. Two, there's very few over there. And the first. Equal. Okay, is this thing cut off here? Okay. Oh, there we go. Equality. You get a longer. You give them a longer ladder. Like, look at that. We didn't give you a longer ladder. We didn't spend way more money, and you still only got 3 apples in this person. But look at the conditions. Look at the material conditions there. Equality. Equity. Equity. So there's a big difference. Equal, yeah, okay, cool. But that equality didn't do nothing there as far as the goals to get apples. Enough apples in a particular period of time, short amount of time. Now, justice. Because custom tools that identify and address inequality. So they addressed the inequality, but look what that did. Still nothing. Now, justice, fixing the system to offer equal access to both tools and opportunities. I couldn't illustrate this better myself. All right, let's move along here. You could freeze frame this any day for you. Okay, let's go. Freedmen's Borough, the lineage that some black people has came from. Black people came from Brazil. Some came from Zimbabwe. Some came from Belize. But this particular black people here has come from the Freedmen's Borough lineage. They've been here over 400 years. Fought in every war. Paid all their taxes to. 400 years worth of taxes. You might want to check that out there in your Google machine. Freedmen's Borough. Alright. Boy, oh boy. New York Times. CBS, you know, New York Times. Little old me. The dummy from Detroit. Who ain't scared. Ain't that dumb. It's not my fault. Shit. Don't blame me. You ain't got the heart to start. Don't even. How the government pulls coronavirus, the Wuhan virus, money relief out of thin air. That's where the city it came from. Once fringe ideas in economic theory are now nearly official policy as government borrowing surges and the Federal Reserve signals it could buy unlimited debt. So this was you pull it up. This is about a year or so ago. Okay, obviously the pandemic, we're 2 years in now, so definitely been within the last 2 years. So they're able to. There's a video with Senator Paul Ryan, and Alan Greenspan. It's like 3 minutes long. I think it's a minute long. Addressing the same issue, and the video was in '05, if I'm not mistaken, or '07. It's like something around that time. Now, Boy, oh boy, where you been? Come on back. Will it back in? Come on back. If you don't want refugees seeking asylum in the U.S., then stop overthrowing their democratically elected governments and stealing their resources. This is not effing rocket science. How would Jesus feel about reparations? You know, the pink Jesus you worship like a jackass. Oh, the redlining, the lean on me school systems, the purposely underfunded with no oversight. These are the school systems that one group of people get intentionally herded into like sheep cattle. Then get told our group of people is damn lazy. Give us the same school systems and let's go. Let's see what happens. Let's try that experiment. Don't do that. Ooh, judging by that car and the clothes, like fashion, whatever, that looks like that could be the 40s and definitely not the 30s. I think it could be the 30s by that car there and the clothes. That could be the 50s also. But yeah, this man is in his Sunday best there. Older guy, that looks like he's in his 60s. This guy looks like it looks like he's in his 30s, but could be in his 40s. I guess they're coming to break that up, right? Negroes got tired of getting beat up in their church clothes for one. They ain't playing that getting beat up stuff, and they damn sure not gonna be walking around, just be walking around in their church clothes all day. So that's talking about a cultural shift to today, Negro. Malcolm X. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. Right? Oh, that's a blurry there. Get the where that come from. Sorry, I can't give you the source there on this one, but I believe if you Google this word for word, it'll pull up. Can't even get the word there. All right. Report. No progress for freedmen on home ownership, unemployment, and incarceration in 50 years. So since King got shot, you know, this article is over. I've seen this article over 5 years ago. So and it could be a 5-year article, a 1-year article once I saw it. So let's say the 2012. So that's about 50 years ago. There's no progress in home ownership, no uptick in home ownership, a lowering of incarceration or unemployment since King got shot for Freedmen. Speaking of MLK, freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. No ways around it. The Negro great stumbling block in his stride towards freedom is not the white citizens counselor or the Ku Klux Klaner. So those are both white supremacist group. I had to look up that first group because I never heard of it till today. So I looked it up. But it is the white moderate. So that's allegedly coming from MLK. So if that truly came from him in the 50s or 60s or whatever, that's very interesting that he said that. Because I felt that way. I felt that I could feel that way now, but maybe just out of sheer ignorance and naivete, I didn't expect to hear that from him. But that'd be very interesting if he even said that. back then, which means Negroes as a group of people don't catch on quick, which is why I'm doing this video instead of painting the house or cleaning the garage, clearing the gutters, helping old ladies across the street. The evils of capitalism are as real as the evils of militarism and evils of racism. That's MLK. This country has socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for the poor. MLK. So profound. A society that has done something special against the Negroes for hundreds of years, now must do something special for the Negroes in order to equip him to compete on a just and equal basis. MLK, New York Times, CBS, NPR, Federal Reserve. But it's my fault, right? It's my fault. It's me. No, Dunny. New York Times again, same thing. The money coming out of the U.S. government to these different countries. Look at all these on the yearly, annually. Look at this stuff. Jordan, 1.5 billion. South Africa, 511 million. Thailand, 65 million. Dominican Republic, 61 million. Argentina, 2.9 million. Okay, so many though. Canada, 35 million. Okay. To these other countries. If your family arrived in the U.S. using the mode on the right and not on the left, you are not owed reparations for chattel slavery. Very simple. Delta Airlines, stamp. You a Delta Airlines black. Didn't what I say? 9 through 18 generations. Big difference there. There were no plane. There was no such thing as airplanes back then. What's the matter? It's the same distance. Barbed wire. The alligators. Brick wall. It's broken down now, but then you got the big hole, then you got spikes right there too. Is that what that is right there? Big old hole you gotta jump over. Boy, oh boy. Nobody want to talk about that though. Black massacres, the Black Holocaust. Oh my God! Everybody know about the Tulsa massacre. It wasn't a race war, it was a massacre. Then you look at all this stuff here. Black massacres throughout the country from 1866 all the way up to 1943. Boy, oh boy. So it's not just Tulsa. Reparations, a specific lineage coming from a specific nation. Chinese Americans didn't get Japanese American reparations in the U.S. That did not happen. Specifically towards the Japanese Americans. Specifically. I'm on through that. Freeze frame that. Let's move along. I just don't get time. We could go through this here. Let's read it up. What is reparations? A comprehensive set of programs which serve reparative justice, fundamentally addressing the social economic disparities at the root of most problems plaguing freedmen community today. These disparities include wealth, psychological traumas, environmental deficiencies, education, and anti-black discrimination. The recipients are a specific group that is identified as just as specific as any legal court case. which includes lineage therapy, protected citizenship class, neighborhood and infrastructure restoration, cash compensation, wealth restoration, mandatory historical education, cash restitution, punitive damages, government contract guarantees, HBCU endowment funding, national acknowledgement, federal mandated training. The bill is paid by citizens and private public corporations because everyone accepts this benefit from the oppressions. Okay, so that again, that take out that last line at the bottom there. That comes from the U.S. government, specifically the U.S. Treasury. There you go again. I'm all through that. All you want, it's right there. This is a chart, a table put together for you just to kind of let you know here. You could verify. You could just to give you some footnotes to Google and investigate the specific group of people, the year, the amount. Give you something to look up there, just to give you an idea though. MLK, this country has socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for the poor. Oh boy, look at this. How old is that? That's baby Danny. 8 years old. That's like 2. That baby look like 3 years old. You're not 4. Let's make that baby 4? I don't think so. 4 is bad. That baby look 2. Damn. I can't. Declining wages and salary. Now, this is not dealing with race or lineage at all. This is the U.S. citizens in the U.S. Wages and salaries not matching inflation or the cost of living. Percentage share of total gross domestic income. Bureau of Economic Analysis, Business Insider. Alright. Cost of living is going up. Wages and salaries in general overall is going down. A lot of people are getting distracted, politically distracted with culture wars instead of the two political parties who are servicing Wall Street. That's what that looks like to me. But what do I know? I'm just a silly Negro from Detroit, right? All right, let's close this out, man. We're gonna do a part 2. Anybody got any rebuttals or questions? I'm here on the west side. Email me, hit me up on social media. I'm here. I'm not hiding in a bunker, not in a cave. All right. Okay, so we'll check you out here. We'll get part 2 rolling on here. Have a nice night. Enjoy your evening. Thank you much so. Peace out.